What do you do when you know that there is something in a room that needs to be said and nobody else is saying it? Are you the kind of person who waits and waits and hopes that somebody will eventually, and you're willing to just leave the meeting with that thing unsaid rather than bring unwanted attention to yourself? Or are you the kind of person who jumps on that with no hesitation at all and you're happy to say the thing that needs to be said, maybe a little too happy to do it, and sometimes you cause friction? Well, today I'd like us to look at how we handle that situation and maybe get a better process for how we make the decision and what to do when we do speak up and people are not willing to hear what we have to say. So, this is about preventing things from going wrong when we know intuitively that we're headed down the wrong path with a team. So, let's look at it. How do you say what needs saying in the moment? First of all, have you ever been in that situation where you knew that the group, whether it was your leadership team or your work team, could have been your family, that was planning to do something? They'd all kind of agreed. Everybody was on the same track in the conversation. Everybody seemed to be on the same page. And you just knew that what they were deciding was going to go the wrong way. Well, I thought about this because I was preparing for a keynote that's coming up, and I thought of a couple of situations that I've been in where a group was making a bad decision. And I did speak up because I tend to be the person who's too willing to jump on that and go ahead and speak up. And I've done some damage in relationships because of that. Well, for a while, I went all the way to the other side where I wouldn't speak up, even though I knew a group was going down the wrong path, because I felt like I had to spend some time preserving relationships, and things would go wrong. And I'm not saying that I'm always right. I'm saying there have been a couple of times that when I looked back, I should have stood my ground. So I'm trying to get back to that happy middle where, I'm cautious about when I speak up and I only really stand my ground or push my perspective if I have checked in on some specific things that we're about to talk about. So if you've been the person who spoke up and got some resistance and then you decided to go quiet, how did that feel for you? Did you feel fearful, of moving forward? And so you decided just to kind of shrink into the wallpaper? Or did you decide that you're going to reattack later? Either way, if it's really worth it, we have to figure out a way to move forward in those conversations. And so I'm looking at this like a, red light, yellow light, green light kind of thing that we can use to make that decision and to know what to do next, because we're really faced sometimes with something that's going to involve the health and safety of people. Maybe it'll involve a large sum of money. Maybe there's an investment that's going to be made by your business. And you know that that's not where you need to be spending the money, and you're going to regret it as soon as you do. If it's not health and safety, if it's not money, it could be a lot of time is going to be wasted on something. So you feel that you have an obligation to stop a poor decision from being made. And this is exactly what I want more women to step into. Instead of being on the sideline, watching poor decisions being made, watching people get hurt or money wasted or time being spent on things, and we try to speak up kind of sheepishly, we get the resistance and then we just stop. We have to do a better job of re-engaging with that if we know in our heart and our mind that we're going the wrong direction. Because there's nothing worse than the sting of regret, especially if people got hurt, because you maybe sheepishly tried to speak up one time, and as soon as you were ushered away, you just gave up. So how do we not give up? In those situations, we have three choices. The first is, we can advocate. We can advocate for our position, the reasons for our position. We can advocate for, if it's people in our organization that we're concerned about safety or something like that, we can stand our ground and advocate. And that's hard to do, especially because I'm talking about after they've already resisted you. Not just the initial speaking up. Most of us can do that. But once they have resisted you, even laughed at you. Have you ever had that where somebody laughs at your suggestion or your concern and tries to shame you for having it and chuckles all around the room? Everybody joins in. That's a classic situation where women just clam up and they just don't say another word. Okay, so we have this choice. We can continue to advocate for the thing that we believe to be right, or we can elevate it. So that's another route that you can go. If you feel like in the room, you've reached diminishing returns on talking about this thing, then let them know that you're going to elevate it. There's no need to go quiet and to pretend like they've won, because you have no intention of stopping. So let them know that. Just say, "Hey, I get it. You don't want to hear what I'm saying, but I feel so strongly about this that I think I'm going to elevate it after the meeting. I just wanted you to know that. So we can move on with the meeting, but I want you to know that I'm going to elevate this after." And now they might decide to open up the conversation again, but if they don't, that's okay. You haven't gone around behind their backs. You told them straight out that you're going to elevate it. And the last thing is, if you don't advocate, all right, you haven't said that you're going to elevate, the last thing that you're going to do is participate in whatever that decision is. You're a part of it. If you do nothing, you're a part of it. And I've had a circumstance in the military. Some of you have heard me talk about this, where I tried to tell a group they were going to go the wrong way, that they were going to go over a cliff. They decided that I was like afraid to go that route, which is insane. And they shamed me for actually pointing out that their route was bad. And it ended up getting 4 people hurt. So I still carry a lot of guilt, and that was almost 30 years ago. Carry a lot of guilt about those 4 people getting hurt. I feel like I should have advocated even more. I should have elevated the situation, but I didn't do either of those. All right, I gave up. I just said, fine, have it the way you want it. And instead I participated. And so I have to live with that, right? There's another situation during a race, one of the ultras that I ran, and I asked the driver to get a piece of equipment. He was in charge of all the vehicle stuff, with the crew while I was running. And I really was relying on him to have everything we needed. And he said we didn't need that piece of equipment. Okay. And I'd been a crew chief before. So I knew that it was good to have this thing. And he said, no, we don't need that. And so I thought I was being respectful of him because I had asked him to be my crew chief, and he was very experienced as well. I thought, if I keep pressing for this, I'm kind of disrespecting him. So I'll back off. I'll believe him that everything's going to be okay. And sure enough, during the race, we needed that piece of equipment. We really needed it, and ended up with a 1.5-hour delay in that ultramarathon. And you can't say, I told you so. It is what it is. I participated. So I didn't advocate hard enough, and I didn't use my authority, as the person who really was in charge of the team because it was my race. I didn't use my authority. Instead, I was trying to be nice and accommodating and respectful. And look what ended up happening. So we really have to do a better job of deciding when what we're thinking, what our intuition is telling us is spot on and accurate. And instead of feeling like it's distasteful to re-engage with the group that's not listening to us, we have to see that it's our responsibility. Because the world is going haywire because women aren't doing this, honestly. We try to help, and then when help is not appreciated, we back off. So what's going on in your job, in your family, or in your community where you feel like other people are not seeing what you're seeing and that you need to move forward and do a better job of advocating? Re-engage if you have to. If none of that's going to work, then you elevate, right? So you first try to advocate and try more than once. Try every way that to advocate for what you're talking about and what your concern is. And if you have a better idea, then advocate for that idea more than one time. After that, if it doesn't work, elevate. Okay, don't just go quiet and go, fine, have it your way. All right, if they're going the wrong direction, stop it. And the last thing is to remember that if you don't do either one of those things, then you're participating. And you want to be known for the person that just decided to acquiesce and participate in something that was wrong. So it's a quick hit on us doing a better job of saying what needs to be said in the moment and sticking with it, even if people don't agree with us. So get out there and make sure the right things happen. Be fearless and advocate or elevate. See you soon.